Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to the Culture Update. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. I am your girl, Vanna J, and man, it has been a crazy week this week for the culture. I mean, there's been so much going on. I'm so excited to bring you today's show and just go over all the events that have happened and give you the culture update. Once again, this show is being brought to you by the Culture Creators. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Culture Creators channel on YouTube and like and all that good stuff. Make sure you turn on those notifications so you know whenever they have new videos as well. And thank you for tuning in with me. Also, as always, I like to hear your comments and your thoughts about what the subjects that are going on that we're talking about are, and if you have future subjects that you would like us to talk about as well. So make sure you are dropping your comments as we are going through today's show. So let's jump right into it, man. I'm super excited to talk about these topics today, you guys. There is so much to be said when it comes to our culture and when it comes to the Olympics. And that's why I wanted to start the show today talking to you guys about race and its direct correlation to the Olympics, and especially in 2021 and what things are going on now. And we have so many athletes and so many cultured and melanin and colored athletes that are performing and that are at great stature. And it just made me ask the question, like, how inherently racist really is the Olympics? Like, I think this is something that people should be talking about. If we have systematic, and when we say the word systematic, more than just race can be systematic. Things are put into place in a system and they are continued that way. And so a lot of things can be systematic, including race. And race is just one of those things, or racism can be systematic. And so I thought to myself, how systematically racist is the Olympics? So let's just pull up some examples. Let's just talk about some issues that are going on that are relevant today. So let's bring up some of the women of the culture. So we're talking about athletes and competitors that are literally world renowned. And I'm meaning like the best right now. So we're talking about Simone Biles. We're talking about Naomi Osaka. We're talking about Sha'Carri. Even though Sha'Carri was not able to perform and was not able to go to the Olympics, it's a subject that's going on and it involves race. So let's start with Simone Biles. And this is just crazy to me because I just thought to myself, in what world, in what history do we live in where we've ever told anyone that they are too great or too good, or that they are in fear of making other people not do as well because of how good they are? It is so astounding. It is so unfathomable that they would go so far as to tell Simone Biles that the difficulty, and this is pertaining to the difficulty when it comes, because I had to do a little studying about gymnastics, and there are different ways of scoring. And as a part of the breakdown of the scoring in gymnastics when it comes to the Olympics, you look at the difficulty of the said performance or moves that are being done. And that is a part of your tier of scoring that you get. And so what they basically said to Simone Biles leading up to the Olympics and in talks around the Olympics were that her moves in the category of difficulty had already been so great. They had already blown almost every single competitor in all the years that she's competed out of the water. She was already ranking so high in the level of difficulty as it was, that for her to then come up with a new routine with new moves that are even more difficult than that, they basically just said it was too much. It was too difficult. It was too great, too good. She had surpassed even her own self and even her own goals and even her own levels and records of greatness. And it was too much. And so for them to come to her and tell her, we don't want other people risking injury because they're trying to do what you're doing. To me, if I was another athlete, I would be very offended by that. I would look at that and be like, so you're telling me she's so good that you don't even want me to attempt to? You're not even saying that I could maybe someday even do that. You're saying that you don't even want me to attempt to try to do what she has already done and accomplished. And that's a huge slap in the face to other gymnasts and other people around the world in general. So I can't understand how people wouldn't be just mad at that in general. And then for them to tell her, that they aren't going to count these these scores, or they're not going to let her perform these things, or whatever they're telling her, however they are keeping her down, because they are, is wrong. And it seems racist to me. When I look back at the history of athletic games, when I look back at the history of even my own family, because I come from an athletic family myself, my father was in the NBA. I could never fathom or imagine them telling an athlete that they're accomplishing too much, that they're doing too great, that they aren't going to be scored upon their level of accomplishment. You have Hall of Fames for that reason. You have MVPs for that reason. You have awards, records. The Olympics, I thought, was for that reason. So it brings up a lot of question as to how they treat women. It's a sexism question, in my personal opinion, and it's also a race question, in my personal opinion, because why and who else are they doing this to? They are only doing this to Black women in this situation. There's been no male white athlete that's gone out and surpassed all of his own goals and done. Look at Bruce Jenner back when he was Bruce Jenner. I mean, did they tell him, oh no, you're not going to be on Wheaties because you're too great? No, absolutely not. So that infuriates me. Let's look at Sha'Carri Richardson. We can think of lots of other controversy that has come up when it comes to the Olympics, where males, i.e. Michael Phelps, has gotten in trouble for marijuana. He still, from what I know of, competed in the games. He may not have, I'm quite sure he competed in the games. I think it was either during or after the games that they found that out. I didn't really look that up, but I just know that it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair and equal to how they treated Sha'Carri Richardson when they found out about her positivity for marijuana. And there have been other athletes that have come out, like the Megan, the purple-haired main girl from the USA soccer team, that has come out and said that she has a CBD marijuana company that she supports and what have you. So there is a lot of question as to how they get off on that whole situation. And then you also look at Naomi Osaka. Once again, we have an athlete here who is beyond, you know what I'm saying? She's broken records. She's doing her thing, literally. They have a really, really great documentary. Check it out on Netflix. Just a little plug here. It's called Naomi Osaka, and it's a documentary about her, and it follows her through the Olympics from 2018 all the way up until like today, basically. And it's a great documentary. It just explains a lot about what these athletes go through, and the media scrutiny and just everything that's basically thrown on them. And I had a different light and a different view of Naomi Osaka after seeing a bit of that documentary. So I really just think that there is a lot of scrutiny, a lot of extra put on Black women athletes, especially when it comes to the Olympics and these three that we just mentioned and I just mentioned and talked about. But I would love to know what you all think. Drop me your comments and tell me, do you feel like the Olympics has been and is inherently racist? And do you think that they have sexism towards women? Did you hear about what I believe it was the Australian volleyball team, where Pink had to come out and Pink wasn't the only celebrity, but there were a few celebrities that came out and offered to pay the fine that they tried to fine these women volleyball players for not wearing bikini bottoms to play volleyball. I mean, it's in my opinion awful. It's egregious. And I don't see how the Olympics has continued to get away with it. I call for a boycott. Why can't these athletes boycott the Olympics, just like the male athletes and other athletes boycotted during the summer, during the violent shootings that happened of Black people by police officers? I say call for a boycott. Why? If people are like, oh, that's cancel culture. Well, hit them in their pockets, hit them where it hurts the most. Sometimes cancel culture is right. Sometimes you have to straight up cancel people. So that's where I stand on that issue. I want to know what you think. So please drop me some comments down below. Let's head on to the entertainment news for today. Man, what is y'all's boy Dababy on? Okay, rapper Dababy is on some new stuff apparently. He is just, you know how the saying goes, talking out your neck? Well, Dababy been talking out his neck, because now he's in extreme hot water. I'm going to go ahead and play the video, but just to give you a little precursor, basically the baby has been being extremely homophobic. And not only that, but he's been extremely, extremely, extremely wrong when it comes to his knowledge of sexually transmitted diseases and HIV, unfortunately. And it's just shameful. Now he's been kicked out of Lollapalooza, and he's, losing. People have come out, Elton John, Madonna, Demi Lovato, all of these people have come out and said stuff against him. So if we can, producer, let's go ahead and throw up the clip and play the video with the baby. This was at his concert, him going on a rant, and let's just hear what he had to say. If we have it, let's go ahead and get that up there. See if my producer has my video. Do we have the video? Let me check and see. But if not, we can come back to it. Okay, so we're going to come back to that. But I can give you a little bit of spiel of what was said. So basically, he made super controversial statements during his Rolling Out Loud performance, and he's now since then apologized for this. He has been basically dealing with backlash ever since. And he basically targeted the HIV and AIDS community with these comments, and they were direct and they were ignorant. He said, quote, "If you didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that make you die in 2-3 weeks, put your cell phone light in the air." This is what he said. That was the end of the quote. And then he went on to say, make a extremely homosexual or what's the word? He is very, well, I would call it misogynistic, honestly, but he is, he has an issue with homosexuals. He's clearly, he does. He called out basically fellows in the crowd, if you're not S&D in the parking lot, put your cell phone light in the air. So this is how the baby feels about gay people. This is how the baby feels. He's telling you how he feels. And this is my issue with it. First of all, anybody can have HIV and AIDS, the baby, number one. Okay, you don't have to be homosexual, or you don't have to be gay or any of these things to contract HIV and or AIDS. Which, secondly, you don't just die in 2 to 3 weeks. First of all, you have to contract HIV, then it becomes AIDS, then later on you would die. You're not going to just die in 2 to 3 weeks just because you have HIV. And it's just so ridiculous that the baby would go on this rant, and it's just so ridiculous that he would open his mouth. Yes, you can have the freedom to say whatever you want, but you have to realize you also have to be ready and willing to suffer the consequences of what you say, because now, after doubling down on statements and then going back and apologizing, doing all of this, now basically the baby has lost, I would say, I'm not sure if he's lost endorsements, but I do know for sure that one of the artists that has previously worked with him has come out and talks against him, and he has been dropped from the Lollapalooza concert completely. So just unfortunate that he opened his big mouth. Keep these types of comments and your feelings to yourself. How many gay people were probably in his crowd? How many gay people probably does he have working for him backstage? Just be quiet, Dababy. Why do you care? Why do you care if dudes were S&D in the parking lot on the way to your show? If they paid to see you perform, then that's money in your account. Shut your mouth. I just don't understand the homophobia. Like, I don't understand the homophobic nature and why you let it be known. Like, and the same thing I always say about it, the same thing with racism is like, just if you're going to be racist, just be quiet. So how do we feel about the baby? Are we still rocking with the baby or not? I'm kind of cool on the baby after this. I really thought he was super, super smarter than this, but obviously he is not that smart. So drop some comments. Tell me what you think about the baby. Is he wilding out? Do you agree with him? Are you as well homophobic in this manner, or do you understand how AIDS and HIV work? I just can't with him. So that's that. We're going to move on. Kanye West, your guy, Kanye West, has a new album, and it is still not out. The release of his Donda album is still hanging in the balance. And in the meantime, he has transplanted himself into the Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Now, when I say transplanted, I mean physically. He is now living in the stadium. He has his own living premises there in the stadium for the completion of his album, which was supposed to be completed, as we know. week or so ago, however long ago that was, back in July. So apparently he's just going to great lengths when it comes to trying to keep this album rolling. Not only did he have the gigantic listening party there at the stadium, I heard that he even flew in Jay-Z at the last minute to try to get it done. He's done so many things, and now he's gone so far as to basically living inside the stadium. And now the Mercedes-Benz Stadium has changed their name via social media in order to support and help him. I'm sure they're probably like, hurry up, Kanye, get the heck out of our stadium right now. But I don't know how I feel about this, you guys. Just looking at this, like looking at the photo of him with during the listening party with the his entire face covered with like I guess it's like pantyhose or whatever. I'm not with it. This is not the backpack college dropout Kanye we all used to know and love. This is definitely that new weird easy. I don't know if y'all are rocking with it. Y'all are rocking with it. I don't know if I can really rock with it. I heard a couple little beats and this and that. I mean, some of it sounded okay as far as production goes, but as far as content, I don't know if Kanye is going to be coming with it in this Donda album. I really just don't. I'm not quite sure he's going to be bringing us what we are truly wanting when it comes to Donda. So will this album ever happen? We don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know. He's living in the stadium. He, has the stadium changes his name in his behalf. I don't know what this means for the Black community. I don't know if we're still rocking with Kanye. I don't know if we're behind him like that. I just feel like he's done so much and said so much and been. It's not just a controversial issue with Kanye West for me. I think it's more of like the leadership issue for me. Like he could have been such a predominant leader in what he was, what I thought he was going towards in the beginning. And now I just don't feel like he has that in him. So we'll keep our ear peeled to the street to see if this Donda album is going to be what they say it's going to be or if it's going to flop. But I'm skeptical, you guys. Please drop me your comments. Let me know what you think about this Kanye West album. What do you think about this Mercedes-Benz Stadium? Do you think that they're trying to get him the heck out of there by just like pushing this along? I don't know. All right, let's move on to the next story. And this one, you guys, I'm really, really, really happy about. So apparently the Black community has taken a step towards filing a lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson. And this is for their baby powder. And this is actually Ben Crump on behalf of Black women. So Ben Crump has filed a lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson, and this is for their cancer-causing agents that have been found in their baby powder. And if many of you know, and I'm sure a lot of you, even Black folks, have a lot of Johnson & Johnson products throughout the year. Johnson & Johnson's a well-known brand. People have used them from their baby oils, lotions, powders, everything, even on up to other products when you get older, like the No More Tangles and shampoos and conditioners and things like that. But for years, Johnson & Johnson has actually had a lot of controversy when it comes to they're getting sued over their products. I've heard all kinds of crazy stories about, I think I actually saw a documentary one time where the founder of the Johnson & Johnson, the founder of the company was a father. His son, who also worked for the company, came out against him and said some things about the company that were like crazy, like arsenic and lead and things like that, and the being found in some of the products. So, there have been a lot of back and forth between Johnson & Johnson and different people coming in and out throughout the years about whether or not their products are sound, whether or not they, have had issues with their products. And now we fast forward to 2021, and obviously we know of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which I think is reason why a lot of people are questioning Johnson & Johnson as a company as a whole when it comes to things like this baby powder issue. So, I'm going to just read you a little clip from the article. So basically it says that in addition to the lawsuit that Ben Crump is filing, U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren is also expected to propose a legislation to prevent Johnson & Johnson from filing documents that would limit their liability in this case specifically. So there's a quote here. It says, quote, "This company, through its words and images, told Black women that we were offensive in our natural state and needed to use their products to, quote, stay fresh." And this is said by Janice Matthews. This is an executive director of the National Council of Negro Women. So this is NCNW. And they are part of the people that are going after them with Ben Crump. So she went on to say that generations of Black women have believed the company and made their daily practice to use their products in ways that put their babies at risk for cancer, and taught our daughters to do the same. Shame on Johnson & Johnson. So it seems that they are going forward with this. They're saying that this baby powder has ingredients and agents that are causing cancer, and that this is generational. Like, these Black women have been passing this down to their daughters in order to use it on their babies and so on and so forth. And that they believe that this is systemic and done on purpose. And it goes on to say that Ben Crump is motivated to fight for Black women, as he claims there is a class action lawsuit against the company that many Black women are not a part of. He says his legal team is filing a lawsuit and other lawsuits in multiple states to target directly Black women and help Black women then get in as a part of this class action lawsuit. So they are going up their head, and it sounds like a good thing. It says that the Johnson & Johnson's brand and credibility have plunged in recent months in regard to their problematic vaccine, which is what I just mentioned. And it also says the FDA recently added a new warning on the Johnson & Johnson vaccines related to the rare autoimmune disorders. So basically, Johnson & Johnson once again in hot water for this issue, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, I was very weary of this whenever I first heard about back in the day, whenever I first heard about their products having cancer issues and causing problems. So definitely an issue. I think that Ben Crump fighting for Black women is what we need. I'm surprised that other Black attorneys have not come forward and basically gone after Johnson & Johnson in the same type of class action lawsuit type of way. So drop me some comments. Tell me what you think about this. We got a comment from Mike Jones. What up, homie? He said, great show and interesting topics always. I like to keep it fresh for you guys. So appreciate you commenting in, and drop me your comments as well about what you think about this situation. I just think that it is about time someone shows up on behalf of Black women and going after Johnson & Johnson for these issues, because it's getting out of control. We have all these cancer causing products. Like, why? It's not okay. So moving on, for the last bit of the show, we are going to do I have a quick little shameless plug / highlight for you for your Black business highlight. So let's move on to that. We have a huge concert coming up, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity for me to share with you guys my business. So I am in the business of travel. I am an independent travel agent, and we have a huge concert happening here in Las Vegas. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I know 80s and 90s babies will be especially happy to hear about this. It is the Lovers and Friends Festival coming to Las Vegas, and this is a huge concert. Like, massive big names are going to be there. Usher, Lil Jon, and Ludacris, obviously the main headliners, seeing as it is Lovers and Friends. And then from there, just the names go on and on. We're talking about Sierra, we're talking about Tweet, we're talking about, it would take forever for me to read all of the names, but let me just give you a glimpse. But yes, so what I'm doing is I'm putting together a group trip. So if you guys want to come to the Lovers and Friends Fest, oh, there it is right there. If you guys want to come to the Lovers and Friends Fest, I'm putting together a group trip with travel accommodations. This would include your flight, your hotel, and your general admission concert ticket. And you can come to the concert. It's happening May of 2022. It's got Lauryn Hill, TLC, Sierra Nelly, Ashanti, Ja Rule, Neo, Trey Songz, Brandy, Monica. The list goes on and on. Akon, T-Pain, Little Kim, Genuine, Sean Paul. Oh my gosh, there's so many good people. Sean Kingston, Trick Daddy, Twista, man, Cameron, Keith Sweat, The Dream, Khalees, I said tweet earlier, Trina, Too Short, Ying Yang Twins, Mike Jones, Lloyd. The list goes on and on and on and on. So if you want to get your hands on general admission concert tickets, a flight and a hotel right here in Las Vegas, make sure you guys hit me up, DM me, hit me up on my Facebook page. I'm putting together the group trip for that with my company Dream Trip Travel Agency, because we can make your dreams come true. So that's what we're going to do for that coming in May. I'm so excited. May 2022. And the earlier you buy your tickets and book your flight and book everything, the cheaper it's going to be for you. So keep that in mind. So support a Black business, support my business, support your girl, and hit me up about the Lovers and Friends Fest group trip. Okay, got it? All right. All right, that is it for the show today. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I appreciate you. If you have topics you want to hear, make sure you drop them below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will do this again next week, and I will have an update on the culture for you again next Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. It's been real. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.